welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And unfortunately, on today's episode, I got to talk about a very serious issue. Um, John Wall said he was dealing with some mental issues over the last 2 or 3 years, and he actually um, contemplated committing suicide. And that's very sad to hear. He said that he was dealing with a whole lot. He had just tore his Achilles. He had just lost his mother and then ended up losing his grandmother like a year later. And I guess he was just in a very dark place and he was just ready to check out. And that's very sad. And what's even worse is, a lot of times when we look at some of these athletes, we look at all the privilege they have based off of their financial status. And we think that everything should just be all good with these guys just because they make a whole lot of money. We figure that they should just be happy all the time and everything is great. And over the last several years, John Wall was kind of the butt of a lot of people's jokes because he was making 30 to $40 million a year to just sit home and he was always dealing with injuries and he just wasn't able to get on the court. And a lot of people were saying, this was one of the worst contracts ever in the NBA history. And last year, the Houston Rockets had John on the team, and they just decided to just send him home, just pay him to sit at home. And a lot of people was trolling him all the time because of it. And you just never really know what's going on with somebody. And it really kind of, it was really kind of shocking and it kind of made me a little sad to hear that because John Wall is pretty much I contribute him to being the catalyst for the whole John Calipari Big Blue one and done era. And whether you love or hate this era of Kentucky basketball, I still think it's ultimately been pretty successful. It's been pretty exciting, and I give a lot of the credit to John Wall. He made it the cool destination for a lot of the top prospects to come to Kentucky and be coached by John Calipari, embrace the Big Blue Nation, and then move on and start your professional career. So it really was. It kind of took me aback when I read the statement from John Wall because I didn't really have any idea that he was dealing with some of this stuff. Even I had made some jokes here and there about him. Like I seen him in the clubs throwing up gang signs and stuff like that. And I was just kind of like looking at him and thinking like, man, this guy got all of this money and he's this age. And I was just expecting him to be a little bit more mature. But I didn't really ever think that maybe he was dealing with a whole lot. A lot of times you just look at somebody's money and you think life is just supposed to be great. But the thing that we got to always be aware of, and I'm actually really conscious of this on my level in my personal life. I try to be one of those friends that reach out to people and I'll just directly ask them like, are you okay mentally? Have you been feeling depressed? Like I just always try to make myself available for the people that I care about and let them know that like it's okay to just tell me like I'm depressed and let me know however I can help you. Like if you just need to vent to me on the phone or if you need me to take you out to dinner or if you just need a ride in a car to just get out of the house, anything that I can do to try to help you deal with your mental issues, I try to make sure that I'm available to my friends and that they always know that like there's a safe place with me that they can come and be honest about how they may be feeling and that, I won't pass any judgment on them and I'll do whatever I can to help. But I just never really think about it outside of my own circle. Like I always look at, people like athletes and, a lot of times we hold them at this high level and we think that, just because you making however many $1 million that, you just supposed to be mentally tough and you're supposed to be able to handle everything, handle all the criticism, handle all the injuries. Like we kind of just treat them like if you making, $20 million a year, you just supposed to be able to deal with whatever comes your way. And a lot of the times we kind of dehumanize these people a little bit. And like I said, I'm very guilty of it as well. And I wish that a lot of people would come out more often and just tell the truth, and we could be more aware of what's happening. I had actually read something about another player that he wasn't a former Kentucky athlete, but Michael Beasley. He was one of my favorite players um, coming up in this whole like young era of one and dones. He was a little bit before, John Wall and them, but he was another guy that I seen so much talent, so much potential, and when I looked at how his career turned out, I was just always confused because it just always seemed like there's just mentally something was wrong or something was off. And recently he came out and I think he said that he was either dealing with the loss of his mother, because there was a couple of situations that happened where I think like he was about to check into a basketball game and it was something weird that happened, like he had on the wrong shorts, or maybe he had on practice shorts. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the internet ate him alive for that. Which the internet is, the internet's unforgiving. The internet is going to come for your neck, and they're going to step on you. They're going to kick you when you down. And like I said, I laughed at stuff like that, and I just always wondered, like, what was going on with this guy. Well, eventually, like I said, he came out and admitted that like he might have lost his mom or something like that, and he just wasn't really mentally right in the head, and he had just been struggling to deal with that. And sometimes we need to just sit back and realize that a lot of these kids, they get thrust into adulthood and a certain level of discipline and financial responsibility and other seasoned adult type of situations as like 19-year-olds and 21-year-olds. And really, it's a lot for kids that young. A lot of them never really been on their own except for maybe the 1 year where they played college ball. Um, and it's probably a really big struggle for a lot of these kids to find their way. And they probably need a lot of them probably need mentors and such like that. But the main thing is a lot of them probably need safe spaces to just be honest and to be open if they're dealing with issues. And shouts out to John Wall for coming out and admitting this. I've been watching some clips of him. He's been playing in some programs. He seems to maybe that he's healthy and he's happy again. He seems confident in himself. He actually been looking really good. And I always wanted to see John Wall do well because I always felt like he kind of got a bad rap and he always struggled with injuries. So hopefully this year, I would like to see him help lead the Clippers and them actually make some noise in the playoffs. John Wall is actually going to have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on his team, so they should actually have a really strong team. But like I said, I like the way John's looking now. He's looking like he's back mentally and physically prepared, and I wish him all the success in the world. But you guys, let me know. How did you did you even hear this about John Wall yet? And how did you feel about mental health and such? And like I said, I always try to make sure that I'm a safe place for people to if they're dealing with anything, that they can always come to me and I can try to help them. And like I said, I'll just ask them sometimes, even if it makes things uncomfortable. Like I just ask, I'll just say, man, are you feeling depressed? Are you good? Like, and hopefully, I've done a good enough job as a friend that they feel open and honest enough to just tell me what's going on, and I can try to help. But anyways, man, I'm like I said, I'm happy for John Wall, and hopefully he'll have much success. But anyways, I'll wrap it up right there, man, and we'll see you back next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.